Between the words that are spoken and the words that are heard, may the Spirit of God be present. Amen. I dare not face my brother in the morning. I dare not look upon the things I've done. Dare not ignore a nightmare's dreadful warning. Dare not endure the rising of the sun. My family, my goods are sent before me. I cannot sleep on this strange river shore. I have betrayed the son of one who bore me, and my own soul rejects me to the core. This is the first part of British poet and priest Malcolm Guite's poem on Jacob wrestling with God. It speaks to me in this time of confronting racism, of fear sparked by the pandemic, of isolation from my faith community. Many of us who are white dare not look upon the things we've done or the things done in our name. Many of us struggle to sleep through the night in these COVID days. Many of us feel from time to time that we are at odds with ourselves, fundamentally out of sorts, fundamentally wrong, that our own soul rejects us to the core. And in this time of anxiety and separation, my soul cries out, "Where is God?" Usually, I find God in the community I worship with every Sunday, but that is closed to us. Usually, I find God in the bread and wine that strengthens my soul, but that is closed to us. The places that previously were abundant feel scarce. The promise that we will all be fed with food that satisfies feels a lie. The God who was present from the beginning of all things feels absent. But in the desert darkness, one has found me. Embracing me, he will not let me go, nor will I let him go, whose arms surround me, until he tells me all I need to know, and blesses me where daybreak stakes its claim, with love that wounds and heals, and with his name. That is how Guite's poem continues. In the desert darkness, one has found me. In the COVID darkness, one has found us. The one who finds us even when we are lost from ourselves. The God of Jacob and Rebekah, the God of Paul, the God embodied in Jesus. Not the safe, tame, easy, domestic God we sometimes seem to picture, but the wild, dangerous, disturbing, fierce God, whose blessing is more like a full-on football tackle than a gentle caress. And God's blessing is not a simple putting to rights of what was wrong in ourselves or wrong in the world. And to be completely honest, I get pissed with God about that. I'm tired of trying and failing and trying again to be the person I'm supposed to be. Tired of seeing the world suffer and not knowing how to put it right. Tired of hearing the daily rising COVID death toll. Tired of seeing the natural world get slammed by humanity's greed. I would love God to reach down from some celestial sphere and put me and everything else to rights. But God's blessing wounds as well as heals. It's not a magic spell that sends out a Harry Potter-style Patronus to chase all the demons away. It's a calling and a discomfort, at the same time as paradoxically being our deepest security and most powerful source of peace. Its wound is to our complacency, our blindness to wrongs, our willingness to let injustice and suffering continue through our inaction. Its wound is the healing wound made by the unpleasant medicine or the surgeon's knife, the wound that causes pain to bring great healing, the wound that, like Jacob, may make us limp for a while, but which frees us to move forward. And it's not all wound. It's not all demand and wrestling and painful action. It is also sweet balm for the weary soul. It is a blessing that tells us, in the midst of all our doubts and weariness, that we are not in this alone. That as well as being cherished adults called to action, we are also beloved children, called to rest in our Heavenly Mother's arms as safe as a babe at the breast. It's a blessing that allows us to put down our burdens when we are weary and rest, knowing that God still holds all the world in an embrace of love. I found this balm of blessing in unlooked-for places, in seeing more people wearing masks to keep others safe, a sign of loving community that echoes the times we could gather on Sundays, in the bright red blossom of the Australian gum trees outside my study window, a small part of the beauty that God entrusts to our care, in the tender trust of being allowed to gaze upon my friend's beautiful new baby, a sign of the new life and potential that is still being born among us. Jacob wrestled with his God. He didn't pretend all was well with himself, but opened himself up to wounding and healing. And in that wrestling, he received both. But most importantly, the healing to move forward, to see past his shame and his tiredness, to see hope in love renewed, to accept the embrace of the God who is strong enough to hold all our anger and fear and who will never fail to bless. And God's name is love. I dare not look upon the things I've done, dare not ignore a nightmare's dreadful warning, dare not endure the rising of the sun. My family, my goods are sent before me. I cannot sleep on this strange river shore. I have betrayed the son of one who bore me, and my own soul rejects me to the core. But in the desert darkness, one has found me. Embracing me, he will not let me go. Nor will I let him go, whose arms surround me, until he tells me all I need to know, and blesses me where daybreak stakes its claim, with love that wounds and heals, and with his name.